Uh, Today, I just wanted to do a review with you for what's going to be on the test. And it's kind of an odd test because it's kind of an add-on to the course because most of the stuff that you need in the course you got in the first 5 chapters. So what we're doing is kind of mopping up and doing other things. And he and I both are doing other things because you run out of material if you basically just do the one course. And in in bringing up the issue of mechatronics and that we are going to have it, it's just I can't describe exactly the correct how it's going to be, but we're going to have a mechatronics concentration. So we're going to have that. So anyway, on to this. So what I did was I kind of looked at I haven't written a test yet, so I don't know exactly what's going to be on it, but this is probably the problems that I'm going to camp on in these chapters. And my philosophy is only one question per chapter. And it's the problem that kind of captures the essence of that chapter. So you have a note, you can bring 4 or 5 pages of notes, and I would just bring with you how to solve problem number 43 in chapter 6, how to solve problem number 29 in chapter 7, how to solve number 19 and 21 in chapter 8, how to solve number 3 and 7 in chapter 9. Okay. Now, all that being said, I could vary off a little bit, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stick pretty much to that. Now, chapter 9, we kind of went off the rails and we did that other problem, but chapter 9 is three-phase power. And I'm going to ask you a question probably in that one about the three, nothing more than something like this, and the lengths of these, and that's pretty much it. In other words, if I give you phase to ground, what is phase to phase? It's the square root of 3 times, if I give you this length here, the length of this one is the square root of 3 times this length. You remember that? That's no biggie. That's probably a question in chapter 9 that I will give you. Not a big thing, but that's probably it. Chapter 10 is a Bodhi plot. So I could go back and look at these chapters and we'll review them just real quickly and see what these problems are, and we can go back through them. We don't have to rush through this. Okay, so page 249, number 43. Okay, so this is mesh analysis question, and this is not an easy question, but basically it's writing like three loops. Right? Um, does everybody remember how to do this? Because that's not an easy one. I didn't remember that. I didn't remember exactly what this question was, but that's not an easy question. You have the I1 loop, do I need to go back over this question or not? You got it pretty much? You know how to do this? All right, I'm not going to worry about it then. If you can do this question, you're good. That's a that's a good one. But using mesh analysis, write the equations for that one. That's a good question. Okay, now chapter number 7, page, yes.
For mesh analysis, do you think it is bigger?
Say again now, if you, mesh analysis is what?
Question. If you have
Solve it all the way through. I would ask you to solve it all the way through. Okay. Number 29 on page 292. This is the question. Yeah, this is the good one. Right here. Everybody remember this question? Yeah, it's a good question. Page 334. C34, number 19 and number 21. Number 19. Yeah, this is good. So you do not have to memorize the solution to this. Get the one in the book. You know what I'm talking about. Get the one in the book, write it down, and the steps. You need to remember the steps, but I'm not going to ask you to memorize those because you have these sheets of paper that you can use. 19 and 21. All right? Probably something like 19. I'll give you a clue. It'll be something simple. Okay. Chapter number 9. Chapter number 9 is three-phase AC, and I'm not going to ask you a question on that because we beat that to death with the solution to the three equations, three unknowns, and doing that. We did that, and I'm not going to ask you to do that again. But like I said, I'm just going to ask you a question, chapter 9, about here's the XY axis, and here's the phase to ground for the one phase. Here's the phase to ground for the other phase to ground for the other phase. Now, what's the phase-to-phase relationship? In other words, if this was 210, what would this be here? It'd be 210 times the square root of 3. Any questions about that? It's a piece of cake question, but it's fundamental to being able to do all the power questions and three-phase questions that we have, and I want you to get that. I want that sealed in your mind. Okay. So that would be question that would be a question from chapter 9. That's a given. I'm going to give you that question. That's what it's going to be. Not a big deal. Okay. So then in chapter 10, Bodie plots. So Bodie plots, chapter 10. I'll give you the paper, and everything you'll have the paper and you'll have the Bodie plot, and you can plot it out, and you'll be done. Okay with that one. So that gives you chapters 6 through 10 in the AC circuits book. Now let's go to the semiconductor book and see what we got. See what we can find in there to give you good questions. So this is chapter 2, 3, and 4 of the semiconductor book. What good questions are there in chapter 2, 3, and 4 of this? So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is 5 questions. 2, 3, and 4 are 2 questions, and I usually give 10 questions. I could give 10 or I could give 8, but basically I haven't made up my mind yet. If I ask a ninth or 10th question, it will not be something hard. It could be something from the conduit quiz. It could be something from the I don't know how to ask a question from the conduit quiz really. That I could be, but I could ask something from this final project. That's a possibility, but I doubt it. I don't know. 8 questions is always it's pretty good. It's a pretty good test. I just gave a test in my other class, and I said you have as long as you need, and they were there until 11:30. 8 till 11:30. That was not good. Bad day. Bad day in Black Rock. Anytime you give a test that takes that long, you know something is wrong. I didn't do it right. That's what I did. Not fun. You think he gave a test that lasted 3.5 hours? Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh well. So let's go through and look at chapter 2 and 3 and 4 in this one and see what we can come up with as far as good questions. Because I'm not sure what I'll ask, but so from chapter 2, something like problem number 4. Okay, that's the kind of question I would ask. All right. Chapter 3. Something like problem number 7. Okay. Problem number 7 is, can everybody see that you basically have to analyze this question at various points? And if you analyze it as the sine wave, this is a sine wave of 10. Okay, so it's got a peak of 10. And it goes down to minus 10, it comes back to plus 10. So it's a peak of 10. So when you get above the voltage here, 8.7, because this is plus, this is 8.7 with the diode. When you get above that, it sticks at 8.7. This conducts, and it stays at 8.7. In other words, you do not get above 8.7. And on the negative side, it's okay, but at the positive side, it clips it at 8.7. Okay? So until it gets up to 8.7, this is it looks like this voltage right here, and then at 8.7, it just basically this forward conducts, and this looks like it clips it at 8.7 is what it does. Any questions about that? Let's go back and look at there's his solution to this one, because I want to make sure that I'm telling exactly right. It's called a clipper. Yeah, yeah. This is it adds the 0.7 volts, so it's at 4.7. So it's exactly right. This is at 8.7. It clips it off. Anything above that, it's not there. So basically, your output signal for this guy looks like it comes up to 8.7 and it's flat across, and it comes back down, and it looks like that. So that's all it is. It's not a big deal. It's not, but it shows you some of the characteristics of diodes, and that is kind of important that you know that. Okay, so then let's go to chapter 4. What's he going to ask from chapter 4? Oh my goodness. This is a chapter of a lot of parts and pieces, but it really gets down to running into that wall. You can't go further than we work through some of these questions at the end of the chapter, but it will be a problem like something with you know, to put in a bipolar. He likes to put in a LED to show current flow, and that's good. But anyway, this is the load line. Where is it on the load line, and finding it and making sure that it is within the confines of the left wall or the right wall. Saturation point. So if it's greater than 0.7 volts at this point right here, this conducts and this current flows. It's like a switch, and that's what you need to remember that from that. Okay, so here is some questions having to do with that. Now this absorbs here 2.1 volts. This is usually about 2 volts. And they give you the voltage of this. So this absorbs about 1.8 volts in this case, okay? And VCE is 0. Okay. He's going through and calculating. Now this is a problem. This is a problem with this. Now you can say if I have voltage here at this point greater than 0.7, this will conduct. And then let's see what he does with that. Okay. Okay. So this problem right here might be the best one that we could have in this chapter. But at least let me go down and look at the problems that he has at the end of the chapter, because I forget which ones we tend to want to use. So we worked through these questions, but 5 and 6, not 7, not 8, 9 would be a good one, and 10. So either 5 and 6 or 9 and 10 would be good questions to camp on from chapter 4. Okay, and we worked through these in class. So 5 and 6 or 9 and 10 in chapter 4 would be good questions to review. So I've gone through each of the chapters and identified at least one problem, and I'm not going to vary from that. All right? That's 8 chapters, 8 problems, and that's probably just going to be good enough for your tests. Okay, I'll give you 20 points, or worth 10 points, 10 points a question. So basically, that's it. 8 questions, 8 chapters. All right, so I can go back over the first ones if somebody missed a little bit there, but basically, the problems at the end of the sections were these. Chapter 6, number 43, and that's one where I will. Do I want you to work through all the way through and get the answer, or do I just want or do I just want you to get the standard form? Did I ask you ever to work that all the way through? Did I ask you to?
I think on the last
Standardized form? Okay. I'll say if you get it to standardized form, that's as far as you have to go with it. I'll give you that. So it's standardized form as far as we go on that question on chapter 6. Okay, chapter 7, number 29, chapter 8, 19 or 21, 19. Okay. Chapter 9, there will not be a problem like these two, but it'll be a simple problem with a getting the phase to ground and the relationship between phase to ground and phase to neutral or phase to phase. This is a phase to phase. This is that, and this is phase to ground. What's the relationship? Is square root of 3. This one is square root of 3 times this one. V phase to phase is equal to square root of 3 times V phase to ground. Okay, so that's that one. That's chapter 9. Chapter 10 is a Bodie plot. Chapter 2, I think I gave you a couple questions. Chapter 3, I gave you an idea there. Chapter 4, I just gave you some ideas there. Any questions anybody's got on this test? Now, you will not get a review for the final, but the final will be taken from your tests, your 2 tests. And it will again be 8 or 10 questions. So basically keep your notes from both tests. And yes, sir. We don't have enough time for that. Today is it, but I'm telling you that it will be taken, the questions for the final will be taken from the 2 tests. So you'll review the 2 tests, go through those, and you'll be okay with the final. If you can work the problems on the test, you'll be okay with the final. Now, how you get the questions, the answers, if you missed them from here on for the final is a good question. So you basically, I don't have an answer sheet. I won't have an answer sheet on Thursday. But you can look at those questions again. We worked through them in class, okay? So you can look at them again and we went through the first hour exam afterwards. We reviewed it. We won't review this one afterwards, but I think you'll be able to review and be comfortable with it. Okay, it's on Tuesday, I think, at 8 o'clock, I think. So anyway, I know these 8 o'clock tests are not fun, but it'll be 8 to 10. It'll be a 2-hour test, but it will be the same length as these. It'll be 8 or 10 questions. It'll be 10 questions probably, but it'll be 5 questions from the first hour exam, 5 questions from this hour exam. And it will be the questions that were the hard ones. How's that? So you need to understand that if you missed a question on your first hour exam, or you think you missed a question on this hour exam, you need to review those. So that's all you need to do. And you need to have those sheets ready and be able to work through the questions from those sheets. How's everybody doing on the project? You got it?
You know, us yesterday.
You're what?
He helped us yesterday. Oh, we were there. I was there. Yeah.
Are you done?
I think we will be close today. It's gonna be Jocelyn will be close today.
Okay. How about everybody else? You're getting there? You got the timer circuits working?
It's just a delay part we have to get working.
You haven't?
No, we have to go back. My dad was bad.
Your diodes was bad? Did you get some more? Did you find some more? Did you get some more?
We still did some.
Okay.
Still did yesterday.
Okay, he helped you? Okay. Okay, diodes are a big deal. How about everybody else? You got it? You're close? Huh? You got the timer part working?
No.
You don't have it yet? Okay. This is not easy. Everybody agree? This one's not easy. And it's worth it's worth 5 lab grades, which is, it's put in there, so the labs altogether are, how many? There's 7 and then there's 5, right? So this is 5/12 of your lab grade, which is 20%. So it's not 10% of your total grade, but it's like 8% of your total grade. So it's almost a letter grade. So if you don't get it at all, if you just fluff it off and you don't say, I'm not going to get it, it's going to cut you probably a letter grade. It's meant to make you have to do it. It's basically what it boils down to. You can't ignore it. But anyway, By the way, I built it. I'm not just giving you stuff that I haven't done myself. I built it and tore it apart and got it to work and all that kind of stuff. So I did the nasty stuff with the relays. Everybody understands that relays are not the way to do it anymore, but that they were the way that it was done before PLCs came along. Everybody's got that in their head, like this is the old way, this is the pre-1980 way, 1975 way. 50 years ago, this is the way it was done. Yeah. So anyway, that's pretty much all I have. I don't want to keep you if you have questions, you can, if you have things to hand in. Oh, I have things to hand back to you. I forgot about that. Here's the stuff to hand back to you. I think that's everything. I'm going to shut this off. I'll stay here for a few minutes, get the stuff handed back, and everybody can get their stuff handed back and then hand stuff in, and I'll. Thank you.
That's right.